Hello, what is up everybody? Wyatt here, and today we're going to be making chocolate chip cookies. I think the perfect chocolate chip cookie should be crispy crunchy on the outside and warm and gooey in the middle. So for this recipe, you're going to need baking soda, salt, butter, 1 egg, vanilla. I'm going to be using some coarsely chopped walnuts in mine, but these are optional. Chocolate chips, and flour. Now, measurements are going to be in the description below. Let's get right into it. Okay, so to start, we're going to coarsely chop our nuts. So I'm just going to lay some walnuts out here, and I'm just going to give it a nice little chop. Because again, we don't want super large walnuts, but we also don't want them to be so small you can't taste or see them. So make sure you don't chop them too finely, but just about this texture should be good. So now they shouldn't all be the same size, because again, they're not supposed to be perfect. So I'm just going to put these back in my bowl, and I'll get on to the next step. Now for our next step, in a medium-sized bowl, we're going to add I already have my flour in here. We are going to add our baking soda and our salt. So we're just going to give this a whisk. Give this a nice little whisk until it's all nicely incorporated. Should only take a second, but make sure it's all nice and make sure you don't have any just chunks of baking powder or baking soda. Sorry, there's no baking powder in this recipe. All right, next. Okay, now for our next step, we're going to add in our butter to a bowl and give this just a quick little mix. Make sure it's nice and soft. Okay, once that's been beat to its fluffy, we're going to add our white sugar. And we'll mix this in. Okay, so once our white sugar and our butter are finally mixed together and fluffy, we're going to add in our brown sugar. Okay, so here I've cracked in my egg, and I'm going to mix this in. Alright, so once that forms a nice consistency, we're going to also mix in our vanilla. Alright, now we are just going to add in our dry mixture slowly. So add a bit of it in, and then we'll mix it. Okay, at this point it should be starting to look like a chocolate chip cookie dough. Without the chocolate chips, of course. Mix. Alright, now we're going to add in some more of our dry mixture and mix this in. Okay, just gonna knock this stuff out of my beaters. Alright, so we're just gonna fold in the last little bit of that. Okay, now we're gonna add in the final little last bit of our dry mixture. And mix. Oh, I need to get the stuff off the sides. There we go. Alright. So at this point, your cookie dough should be forming a smooth, light brown texture. Like it should be a light brown color, and your texture should be nice and smooth. So now we're going to put our hand beater away and we are going to mix in our nuts. I find the chopped nuts just give a bit of extra crunch to it and a bit of extra flavor. I find toasted walnuts are delicious in a cookie, so just, there's some of our dough over there. So we'll just mix this together. Alright, and then we'll just add in our chocolate chips. Fold these together. You don't really want to use the hand beater for this because you don't want to beat everything in. You don't want to beat your chocolate chips. You just want them to be nicely folded in. It's a bit tough. So, fold this in and I'll see you when this is all mixed in. Okay, so now that this is all beat together, or mixed together, I'm going to be using an ice cream scoop for this. I'm going to take a nice big scoop of cookie dough and put it on our baking sheet. I'm going to do this with the rest of the cookie dough and I'll see you when this is done. Okay, so now that I've scooped all of my cookie dough, well I still have a bunch left here for extra batches. So now that I've scooped some of my cookie dough into 6 even balls on my baking sheet, I'm going to open my oven and I'm going to bake these in the oven for 10 minutes. I'll see you when these are done. Okay, so as you can see, these turned out great. So now time for the taste test. I'm going to take one and I'm just going to crack it open. Wow. All right, we'll try dipping it in some milk first. That's really good. Obviously you can get you get that nice chocolate flavor. It's very crispy on the outside, soft in the middle, nice and warm because it just came out of the oven. And I find the nuts give it an excellent taste. I find even if you don't get a bite of the nut in your, find if you don't get a nut in your bite, it's okay because I feel like those flavors from the nut spread out throughout the cookie. Like I've got a bite with just a chocolate chip and I didn't get a nut in it and I still got a lot of nut flavor in there. So I definitely think this is a good chocolate chip cookie recipe. So as you can see, it's nice and brown on the bottom and nice and lighter on the top. It's got a good mixture of chocolate and dough. And yeah, I think if I had to say one thing I would do more about, I would do better next time with this recipe, I think I might do more nuts because there's not a lot of nuts in this recipe. But I feel like if I did this again, I would definitely add more nuts. Well, I definitely recommend this recipe. This is a delicious cookie, and I'll see you guys next time.